Hello you lovely, lovely people. Again, welcome back to the channel, eh? Having no plan at all is planning to fail. So Benjamin Franklin said. I don't tend to agree with that, because most of my life I've never had a proper plan. And I've never really come that unstuck. And that's the topic of today, or part of it anyway. And meaning, not to do the same things I've done, because it might not work for you, but for myself, when I come to the Philippines, in fact most of the things I've done in my life, but today the topic is of the Philippines, I never had a plan. I didn't plan. I didn't do any research on the culture, on the traditions, nothing at all. And I didn't even know if I was going to stay in the Philippines. This is the point. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew that I didn't want to stay in England. I had thoughts of spending time in South America. But I think because I got an addictive personality, I thought that's probably not such a good place to go at the time. So I came here. I spent time in Japan. Not a lot of time in Japan, I must admit, but enough time to realise I didn't like it there. And also time in South Korea. Again, I spent longer time in South Korea, but certainly decided that I couldn't live in South Korea. And the Philippines, you know, I came here, and because of how it is here, you know, the people, how they are, the free way of living, this was for me. And I love it here. I really do, people. But this burnout thing that I've seen a lot about here. It's easy to burn yourself out here, people, really. You know, there's many things that will annoy you. You know, the waiting game here to get anything done. Mind you, saying that, I did my my annual report yesterday online. It was painless and seamless, and I was very impressed. I think it's one of the things that I've done in the Philippines that I've been super impressed about, because it saved me a day out of my life going to Osamis, which I said previously, and easily done. And the immigration guy was absolutely brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And it cost 1,330 pesos or something like that. So it's 1,000 pesos extra to what it would cost if you went to an immigration office. But hey, so what? You know, it saved me the hassle of going to no coconuts there, of going to an office to renew or to report. Absolutely fantastic. But listen, people, if you are coming to the Philippines, you know, and let me say, I'd never been to the Philippines in my life. I hadn't been to any Southeast Asian country in my life before coming here. And I knew one person who, well, I knew him through somebody, and he was with a girl in the Philippines. I never met the guy, and he was building a house here. That's all I knew. And the person that was telling me this was a friend back in England, and he said he loves the Philippines. That's the only thing I ever heard about the Philippines, seriously. So when I came here, I fell in love with the place almost straight away. And that was because it was something new, something fresh. But those new and fresh things eventually subside, and then you actually see what it really is like here. Which for me, no problem at all. Things can get annoying sometimes, but things can get annoying anywhere. Like the waiting, the patience. You definitely need patience to be here. I've said this several times before. But this burnout that people talk about, I can totally understand it. Now, I wouldn't come here, right, specifically for a girl. I really, meaning I wouldn't come here and give everything back in England. I wouldn't do that. I would come here first and stay for a while. Give it a year here. People say 6 months. I don't think 6 months is long enough, because 6 months you're still on that high. A year, you tend to really find what it's all about here, kind of thing, and you'd be settling in or you won't be settling in. But there's a lot of things to contend with here. The noisy motorcycles, that's never going to change. The dangerous driving, I don't think that's ever going to change. And that's not just for motorcycles, that's for people in cars, people with any vehicle. Even bus drivers, I've seen that, I've been on buses here, where they drive like mad people. They do, and I'm sat on the bus thinking, this is like the old school bus driver when I used to go to school. And that school bus driver, back in them days, they used to smoke on the bus, with a bus full of kids. And we'd be going to school, and this guy, he was from Bond's Buses in Willington. And God almighty, he used to drive like a nutter. That's what some of these drivers are like here. And this burnout that I keep harping on about today is real. It is real. Because there is a lot of things here that you might not be able to adapt to. Very simple. If you love the country, besides the woman that you're with, then you've got more of a chance of being successful here, should we say that? Being successful. But if you're only here for the woman and you don't like the country, you will soon get exasperated with the place. And I mean that, people. You will. Some people call this paradise. I call it a paradise to a degree, but in actual fact, what is your paradise? My paradise is just living a contented and happy lifestyle. That's paradise to me, because I didn't have that in the UK very often. It was a struggle back in the UK. You had to be a slave to the machine. You have to be. You're a slave to the wage back in the UK. And you can't afford to take a day off in the UK. You slip behind on your commitments, your mortgage, your rent, because that doesn't stop just because you're sick. The bank doesn't say, oh, I tell you what, Stephen, it doesn't matter about the payments this month. You haven't been very well. We'll forget it this month. Just make it up when you can. They don't see it like that. But here you can be more relaxed. You haven't got to worry too much about things, and you can slow down a bit. I think that's one of the most important things, I think, when you come into a place like this, is just slowing down, or learning to slow down, if you like. Many of you might not need to learn. I haven't slowed down to the fact that where I don't do anything, because I am an active person. I've been active all my life, so I can't sit still for too long. I've got to be doing something. I've got to have something to be doing. But the difference is I don't have to do it. Where back in England, I did have to do many of the things that I was doing, which pissed me off for a long time, which made me decide I didn't want to spend the rest of my life back in the UK and came here. And I said, I didn't make a plan. I did not make a plan. I didn't know what I was doing, where I was going to end up. And a lot of you might think that's a bit stupid. But I think if you don't take risks and you calculate things too much, then you might pass those things by, mightn't you? You might think, ooh, that's too much of a risk. Well, I think if you don't think about that, I'm not telling you people not to think about it, just because I didn't. But I think if you calculate things too much, you might pass by certain opportunities which otherwise you might have taken. Now, the older we get, the less opportunities that arise, I think. And we have to, we can't just keep sitting in a chair thinking, I want to do this, I want to do that. You've got to act on those. Those thoughts that you have, you've got to act on them, haven't you? You can't just, you can just sit there and think about them and don't do them, but then where does that get you? It gets you nowhere. It gets you, and the older we get, we think, oh, why didn't I do that? It's too late. But it's never too late to make a change. It's never too late to do the things that you've wanted to do. And this doesn't just mean moving to another country, because that's a bit dramatic, isn't it? I think moving to another country is a big thing. But to me, it's not such a big thing, because what was so good about living in the UK? Yes, I had adult children, but like I said, they've got their lives, you know. I speak, you know, to my second son quite regularly on Messenger, but they don't want me around all the time, and frankly, I wouldn't blame them. You know, they don't want to sit with their dad in their 20s and 30s, because that's what they are. You know, my eldest son is in his 30s. You know, my second son is, you know, in his late 20s. But that shouldn't stop you coming. You know, because you think, oh, I've got kids in this country. You know, if they are adults, then they will understand. You know, it's your time. It's your time. You can't just stop doing things for other people. If you do things like that, if you think of other people all the time, and I'm not saying this in a selfish manner, but if you do things for other people all the time and you stop yourself from doing things, then you're sacrificing your happiness. You're sacrificing what could be the best time of your life. We're now twilight years, people. We really are. And also, I have a better time for less money now. When I was in the UK, I earned a lot of money every month. A lot of money every month. I worked hard, but I earned a lot of money. But it didn't mean to say I had any more free money, because everything was more expensive. And of course, I used to drink a lot more then as well with my friends and stuff. So, and I kind of missed them days a little bit with my mates back in England. But here, I've got a new family now, haven't I? You know, which wasn't expected. But hey ho, it's one of them things, and I'm happy that it's happened. At the time, I wasn't so, but now I'm very happy. And it's changed my life around. I was one of these people who didn't like responsibilities. I didn't like commitments. And I think that's why I was a bit of a, you know, like a leaf in the wind when I was back in England. You know, I could do whatever I wanted, and I did do whatever I wanted all the time. And I think that was part of my problem. I was just too much of a drifter. I mean, I wasn't drifting around the place, but just drifting around in my life. And then I come here, you know, I end up getting married and stuff like that, and having kids, and it's given me a purpose again. But, you know, let me tell you this. If me and my wife did ever split up, and I don't think we ever will, but if we did, I would still stay in the Philippines, because, like I said, I didn't come to the Philippines for her. I didn't know her till I was in the Philippines for a year or so. And then we got together. But I was in the Philippines because I liked the Philippines. And the longer I've been here, I like it more. I don't dislike it the longer I'm here. But I know a lot of foreigners do. And that's why a lot of foreigners can't make it here. It's not because they haven't got the finances. It's because they just can't get on with how it is. It's so slow. There's queues. There's just many things. There's just too many things to list. And I can't think at the moment, to be honest with you. I had a little sleepy this afternoon. I did. I had a little sleepy. And I woke up and I thought, I'm going to do a video. And I just walked up, because I haven't been down here for a long time. Well, doing a video anyway. I mean, I walk here every day with a dog. So I thought I'd just do a little video. And I haven't woken up properly yet. But I feel burnt out sometimes. And I feel burnt out because I find that I do a lot of things myself. Like anything to do with official stuff. Because my wife doesn't need to do that. You know, she hasn't got a driving license. She doesn't want a driving license. I said to you, get a driving license. Even if you don't drive, it's good ID. Oh, well, you know, I thought, oh, well, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink it. She just doesn't, you know, I think she's really set in her ways. So everything that is done in the house, I do it, you know. The only thing that she does is because everything is in her name, obviously, because foreigners are not. We all know foreigners can't own stuff here like that. But, you know, so she does all that sort of stuff. But I'm with her because she's not assertive, like I've said before. She's very shy. And they say to her, speak up, ma'am, speak up, ma'am. I say, Mary, even I can't hear you, and I'm stood right beside you. But, I love the place, really. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And now the weather's turning. The sun is starting to shine and I've just been bitten by a mosquito. Oh, I got bit by a mosquito in my ear. Not last night, the night before, and it's been driving me up the wall. I put mosquito stuff on me, but obviously I don't put it in every orifice. And I do put a bit here, but I didn't put it. I should have went like that with a mosquito cream, but I didn't. It bit me right in the ear. And it's driving me nuts, people, it is. And because I've been scratching it, it's swollen up like a carbuncle in here. Oh, I shouldn't touch it really, because if I touch it, I want to scratch it. And my wife says, don't scratch it, you'll make it worse. I said, I know that it'll make it worse, but I can't help it. It's the temptation. I just can't help it. Oh, dear me. And now I'm talking about it, and I've been bit again on my arm. I'm my own worst enemy. I come out when the mosquitoes are about. 3 o'clock is the worst time of day, apparently. And it's probably about that time now, I don't know. But I'm heading off home now, which is only here. It's only up the road. It's only here. Literally about 2 minutes. But people, listen, you don't have to plan things to the minor's detail. As long as you've got money and you're prepared to take a few risks, you can't go far wrong, can you? You can't go far wrong. And even if you do go far wrong, you can just jump on a plane and go somewhere else. Doesn't matter. Don't let people put you off coming to the Philippines. Don't let people put you off. Don't let all these horror stories, these vlogs. Oh, the government, because of that twat of a vlogger who was going to say about the HIV thing, the government are talking about, and I don't think it's a good idea, let me say that first, giving people who come into the Philippines, tourists, foreigners, an HIV test. It's a long way off yet, but they're talking about it. Now, if they did that, I think that will kill tourism here. Personally thinking, I think tourists would not come here. Not because they don't want the test, but because of the red tape. But look it up, people. It's on the internet. The government are talking about, only talking about it, maybe screening age tests, HIV test for foreigners coming into the Philippines, tourists and things like that. I think a good thing to do would be to screen the people that are already here, the Filipinos maybe, I don't know. Or give them more education about having safe sex or something. I don't know. But anyway, people, that's it. And I'm going to go. I said the house wasn't far, didn't I? There it is. See you next time, people. Thank you for dropping by. Take good care, as always.